With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Where are we at? Oh, yeah, there we are. You know, a little bit earlier, we talked about Paramount and that they're kind of doubling down on theatrical. Well, they just kind of came out and kind of gave us a list of what their priorities are. And it certainly is theatrical, because in an interview, they were saying that they're aiming next year for 7 to 8 theatrical films, but their real target after that is 15 films per year. And what are their top priorities? Well, here's what we got here. This comes to us from Deadline. Hours after the Skydance Paramount merger closed last week, the new studio leadership group, led by co-chairs Josh Greenstein and Dana Goldberg, who also serve as vice chair of platforms and chair of Paramount Television, respectively, sent a loud message to the town that they meant business, closing a deal for the hot Timothée Chalamet and James Mangold package, High Side, which we talked about last week. And that was a big one. Every studio and platform was bidding on this thing. Paramount get it. It was a bold move and a bolt of energy that told the town Paramount 2.0 wasn't looking to cut back on its upcoming feature slate, rather to make good on the promises made during merger talks. All of this was underscored this afternoon by a Los Angeles presser for the new Paramount, where they said, and why is this stupid thing getting in my way? Get out of here. Anyway, why? Fuck you, Deadline, for putting this bullshit on there.
Yeah, that was
one of our biggest priorities is restoring Paramount as the number one studio for filmmakers and talent in the world. Paramount's new CEO, David Ellison, said today in the media gathering, great filmmakers make great movies. For us, we're going to strategically scale the amount of content for our streaming services as well as studios. The new entertainment conglomerate, which prevented a further collapsing of the motion picture studios, even had the number one exhibition boss, AMC's Adam Aron, moron, as I like to call him, giddy on the earnings call, going blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they go on throughout the thing talking about waxing poetic about a lot of things. But he said something really interesting. The CEO, you can take that down, Jonathan. The CEO said, what are our top priorities? Top Gun 3, Star Trek, and World War Z.
That made $500 million.
That $500 million after being a disaster, and they went back and reshot 3/4 of the movie, and it ended up being a really great movie. I really like that movie. I'm not saying it's the greatest zombie film of all time, but I mean, it was really good and surprisingly good. But he's coming out and kind of laid more track about this whole thing about Top Gun 3, saying that's our top priority. Top Gun 3 is it. Doesn't matter what Mission Impossible did. Doesn't matter that Warner Brothers is saying no to Tom Cruise on this underwater movie he wants to do because he wanted $270 million to make it, which is ludicrous. But Top Gun, what was that? A $1.3, $1.4 billion film? Maybe 1.5? Anyway, it was a movie that made a lot of money. And you put out Top Gun 3 tomorrow, people are going to line up. And I think Paramount, which just spent $7.7 billion for the rights to the UFC.
Well, it's all that Colbert money they're saving.
Yeah, all that money from Colbert. This new Paramount is not afraid to throw around money if they think they're going to get a return on it. They're not afraid to throw around money. They clearly believe Top Gun is a property that will make a return. So they're not going to be shy about throwing money Tom Cruise's way to say, look, change your priority list around. Let's get Top Gun 3 made before you turn 70. So beyond Top Gun, Star Trek, which, I mean, look, if you're Paramount, if you're any studio, you have to look very closely at what IPs do we currently control. Star Trek, thanks to J.J. Abrams, is a relevant sci-fi, is a relevant IP again. Because it wasn't when those movies came out. And it's relevant again. People are excited about Star Trek. Different Star Trek, different things we're looking for. Some prefer Picard, some prefer Strange New Worlds, but whatever. But Star Trek itself, you can't deny, is a relevant IP again. It's not Star Wars or anything quite yet.
No.
But it's a relevant IP again that people will pay attention to when you mention it. So it's going to be interesting to see what they kind of want to do with that. And then the World War Z stuff. Is he implying that they're going to do a remake of World War Z? The world around town is that it's going to be a sequel to World War Z?
Yeah, I mean, they never, they didn't finish it. You know, what's
And then
really
are they going to make a whole cinematic universe out of World War Z?
What's
or-
interesting about that book, that Max Brooks, Mel Brooks' son, wrote that book. That book, the movie is not an adaptation of that book, but that book is one of the most entertaining.
Very loose adaptation. at
But the
best.
book is so
Yeah.
great. And, I don't normally tell people to read books on tape or anything, but the book on tape of this and the actors that are in it, it is one of the greatest books on tape ever done.
Really?
Ugh, it's so, because the book is just, they're interviewing survivors of the zombie war.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's global, and it's really, really, really entertaining if you like zombie stuff. I mean, the movie went in a different direction. You know, it's funny, John, I recently acquired, I didn't realize that there's an extended version on video that I didn't own. So I went and got it. I was like, I want to watch that again. So I went and acquired, it's a UK disc. It's pretty good. Like, I only saw the movie once in the theater. I didn't know there was an extended version. I'm like, you know what? This movie's pretty entertaining. I mean, it's not perfect, but the globe-trotting nature of it and the opening, it's kind of like A Quiet Place. I mean, A Quiet Place took a lot from the beginning of World War Z when the zombie outbreak happens and they're caught in New York traffic. I mean, it's pretty good. Like, yeah, I'm like, it's not bad.
I think the last time I watched it was when it came out. I got to revisit it.
It's more, especially in the wake of what we've seen since then. And, you know, watching Brad Pitt run around in a zombie movie is wild.
Yeah.
It's wild to think, I got Brad, and his Plan B company produced it, was one of the producers on it.
By the way, very quietly, Brad Pitt's Plan B has become one of the more quietly, extremely successful actor-owned little production.
100%.
They've won Oscars.
Yeah.
So anyway, Rob, so we're looking at this priority, Top Gun, Star Trek, and World War Z. We've talked a little bit earlier about how they're planning for 15 theatrical films per year. Obviously, they've also talked about leaning a lot into originals.
Yeah.
But also taking advantage of IP. So run down for me, you know, where you'd like to see kind of them go with a Top Gun 3, with Star Trek as the biggest Star Trek fan I know, you and Mance. And
I'm bigger than that.
Probably, yes. And then, of course,
not by size.
And then World War Z. How do you see it?
Well, look, I think going for their tentpole properties is obviously always a good thing to do. But I think they should accept what Warner Brothers is doing as a strategy as well. You have your IP and you offset it with brand new original movies made by auteurist filmmakers like your Ryan Coogler's, you know, like Zach Kreger, like these guys that are delivering the goods. Now, I don't know if Walter Hamada is still at Paramount. You know, they moved him over
That's
to
right, yeah.
And he was going to be developing genre movies, horror films. I think Paramount should jump right back in. They have a long history of like the Paranormal Activity franchise. They have a lot of horror of the Friday the 13th franchise, which they don't control anymore. But Paramount has a long storied history of, maybe they could remake The Sender. Forget I said that. But they could do other things and look into their history and I think delve more into that and offset their big IPs with other theatrical movies. Because look, you know, if you can make a movie for 40 or 50 million bucks, it looks like Weapons is going to cross $100 million by Friday. It'll probably put in another 30 million in its coffers by Sunday. You're closing in on 150 million worldwide on a Weapons, which wasn't a big spend. And if a studio can do 5 or 6 of those, look at what Warner's done. 6 movies in the last 4 months opening to over 60 or $40 million each. That's what Paramount has to concentrate on.
Yeah.
By the way, if they're going to go do Star Trek, you know how they rehabilitate Star Trek? This is what they should do. Eric Jedrinson, who wrote Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, and Final Reckoning, he co-wrote them with Chris McQuarrie. He wrote a script that Paramount already owns called Star Trek The Beginning, which is a direct sequel. It's what they want to do. They keep trying to go back to this beginning of the Federation BS. It is that. It's exactly what Paramount wants to make, and they get McQuarrie to direct it. And they make it for $100 million or less. They set that budget at $99 million. They make Jedrinson's script, which Chris McQuarrie will rewrite. You have the same team that's been giving you Mission Impossible movies. You give them $100 million and you cap it at that. I guarantee you they'll give you one of the best theatrical Star Trek movies ever done.
Okay.
All brand new cast except Captain Archer.
Number one, I love it. The problem is you're gonna have to get a crowbar to separate McQuarrie from Tom Cruise, because he's got a number of projects lined up with Cruise. I don't know, maybe bring Tom Cruise over too.
I'm gonna
Admiral Cruise.
Yeah, I was exactly gonna say it. You, Tim, in my mind, because there is the Admiral, the Commandant of Starfleet Academy, which is gonna be 100,000 times better. Jedrinson wrote Starfleet Academy 1,000,000 times better than it's gonna be on that TV show.
You haven't even seen the new show yet.
Yeah,
And
but
you're already shitting on it.
I'm not shitting on it. I'm just saying that this would be better.
You literally did just shit
I
on
didn't
it.
hit on it. I said it would be better because I've read the script. And I'm telling you, I thought they would get Tom Hanks to do that as the Admiral, because he loves Star Trek. But why not Tom Cruise?
If you can get McQuarrie in there.
And you know what? You shoot it like they did with Star Trek 2. Star Trek 2, because of motion picture being so expensive, they brought in Harv Bennett in the TV division of Paramount to make Star Trek 2 The Wrath of Khan, which they did for a price. You don't necessarily bring in the TV division, but a TV mentality. You say to McQuarrie, we're going to cap this movie. You have 8 weeks to shoot it. And you do Starfleet, Star Trek The Beginning. And Jedrinson, they already made they've spent $1 billion together already on those Mission Impossible movies. They own it. It doesn't have to be developed. It needs a rewrite. McQuarrie comes in, you cap it at $100 million. It'll make 300, 400 worldwide. Your Star Trek is golden again. And by the way, it's the beginning of a trilogy.
It could be. There's a couple of other big IP names that were not mentioned that, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Paramount is in control of. Transformers.
Yep.
We already heard word that they might be moving on some new stuff. Ugh. And then Michael Bay might be working. Oh God, I hope they don't do that. But Transformers is a name that wasn't mentioned. I'm gonna throw out another name. I believe it was Paramount. Dungeons and Dragons. Man, that we were talking about Black Bag being underappreciated. Dungeons and Dragons, what was it called? Honor Among Thieves?
Yeah.
Was so underwatched. That movie was so good. So they've got a number. Can you think of any other IPs that Paramount could be in control of here, and maybe they could revisit?
The Cloverfield franchise. You want to go back into J.J. Abrams' business?
Is there still gas in that tank?
I don't know. I do not know. I'm just looking here. I'm looking at Mean Girls. They're doing a new Meet the Parents, right?
Yeah, they're already. Which I think is.
They're still.
I don't think anybody's going to go.
There's
see
still
that.
Ninja Turtles.
You got
Ninja Turtles.
A Quiet Place, Spy Kids,
and they have a new. They just made the announcement with John Krasinski for the next Quiet Place. Spy Kids.
Spy Kids. You know what I'd like to see? You know
Do you know when we worked on one of the Spy Kids movies? Me and the visual effects company I worked for. There's that great scene where they have the miniature animals and they take the lid off the basket and they pour it out onto the table, and all these miniature versions of the animals pour out. We actually did those shots. Took us forever, but we actually did those shots.
Sonic has something coming up, but it's also like it's at the end of its run. I think.
Anchorman.
Oh God, bring back Anchor. I mean,
dude,
it has to be better than part 2, though.
Yes,
yeah,
it has to be better than part 2.
But you know what? Anchorman's got a good. Anyway, I'll tell you what I'd like to see go back theatrical, even though they did it on TV. I'd love to see Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan novels come back.
Yeah,
I think, as a matter of fact, I think that they should do executive orders, and Jack Ryan is now president of the United States because of bad things happening at the end of Dead of Honor, and you do executive orders.
Yeah, didn't Dead of Honor
and Skydance has already paid for a Tom Clancy movie that Kenneth Branagh directed, Shadow Recruit with Chris Pine. That wasn't great.
No, that was an unfortunate one.
Wasn't Dead of Honor like the whole line of like who takes the presidency was wiped?
No, the Dead of Honor was the one we went to economic war with Japan.
Oh yeah,
and it's the book that came out right before 9/11, and at the end of the book, Japanese terrorists crash an airliner into Congress and kill everybody.
That was a very detailed book. There was flaws in the design.
Incredible. Yeah. And they took Designated Survivor, except it was Kiefer Sutherland rather than Jack Ryan. Mm-hmm. But basically, that's what it is.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Paramount saying they want like 15 films a year. Right now, their top priorities are Top Gun 3, getting Star Trek really going, and World War Z. They got a number of other properties. What other things would you like to see them focus on? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.